Starting with the government 10-year yields here, we've been looking at wave 3, 4 and 5 up here for wave 3. Yes, it's possible to have a wave C up here as well, and that would be the top of it at that point, but I never liked that idea because wave 3 here was just like, it was just big and bold and beautiful and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just such a nice third wave here. What I was looking for though is in this wave 4 is to pull back, well, the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree down here, or the 38.2% retracement level, which is closer to 3% there. It still may do that, but it has been creeping higher, so I wonder if I need to put the A wave, the B wave and the C wave in here for this. And one of the reasons that I think that, rather than putting wave B over here and then having wave C over here, is because when I look at the Australian ones, just because I'm in Australia, I keep an eye on it, but all of these sort of yield things are kind of same in a way, So in this instance here, we can see that we had the 3, the 4, the 5 for the third. And then I'd always noted that this particular move here for the A wave was corrective, because an A wave can be 3 waves or 5 waves. And on the US markets, we could count 5 waves down, but in this instance, it counted better as an ABC, an A wave, a B wave, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the C wave. So I always figured that I was on the right track of it being corrective, and now that it's sort of pushed up here, I mean, I still could have a situation where I have 5 waves up there, and you can see that we've got wave 1 and 2, and we're in the third wave, and there's still a fourth is consolidating, and a fifth wave. So I could get a situation where this still comes down here, and I could put the B wave over here and then the C wave over here. I mean, it could still happen like that. I won't know just yet. So that is possible, but one would say that, well, it looks pretty sort of bullish there. So I would only know if, once we get these 5 waves up there, we'd get an ABC back again. And when we get that ABC back, if we took out this B wave here, so to speak, then we'd be in wave 5 at that point. So it'd be 5 waves up with an ABC. It'll be smaller than this, but that particular pattern at that point anyway. Yeah, I mean, that should take us up into the 5% with a bit of consolidation at the 4% here. So I should put that up there. But yeah, so that type of thing. So I mean, the scary thing about this, though, as I've mentioned before, if I can just go back to the US one here, is that yeah, the thing that I find a little bit haunting here for, the community at large across the globe, so to speak, is that if we've got this as wave 1 and 2 here, and then a nice third wave here, and we're having a fourth wave that doesn't really want to pull back, but if it pushes up, then we've got to kind of go with it. But what it's telling us at that point is that it's telling us that we're going to have this 5th wave up here. Now, of course, if we get 5 waves up here, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here, well, then we'll get an A wave, a B wave and a C wave. It normally pulls back to the wave 4, wherever that may be at that case, and then we would go up again, So that's a little bit haunting, because if we get those 5 waves here, that means we're going to get something at least sort of equal to that on the other side. So if we've come up 5%, then a little bit of equality from that 5% would be that we have from down here, we come up and we have 5 waves up here. We'll have some sort of correction taking us back to wave 4, and then we'd end up, moving up here somewhere. And if we've moved 5 degrees here, 5%, bit more, then we should move, say, equality, we should be sort of moving up here on that one. And we know that, in the bigger picture, we come back to the monthly here, we know that, that, I mean, it's reasonable to think that it would get back up here, wouldn't you? You know what I mean? After all of this particular pattern, and, I mean, we've got a financial community of professionals saying all sorts of things, but there's 50%, bullish and 50% bearish as always. But but no but. So I'd just be a bit careful about this situation, especially if you've got mortgages and things like that. I've had a mortgage, but another one, but I'm way on top of it. I've smashed that down, a lot. So I'm not exposed to anything. But yeah, I mean, if you are overexposed, you need to kind of think about this a little bit, because I don't know. I mean, 5 waves up here would just produce another 5. That's all I know. I mean, I'm not an economist or anything of that nature. I don't, I keep things pretty simple, but I understand that money printing is inflation, and I don't know. Yeah, so they weave everything else into the smoke and mirrors of things, but so there we go. If we get 5 here, in Elliott terms, we'll get a correction, and then we'll get another 5 up. Okay, well, anyway, enough of that nightmare. Over to the US dollar, and with the US dollar here, as you may know, we are looking at the move down here. There's a good case for it to be 5 waves. We'll put it that way. You could probably get it as an ABC pattern down here, but I don't think that's the case, because it's pretty clear that the euro and the Australian dollar that have turned, while this has turned down from this point, those markets like the Australian dollar have moved to the upside in terms of 5 waves up. So if we just have a quick look at this here on the daily chart, so there's a good case for 5 waves up here, I reckon. I mean, you could go an A and a B and a C, but it's a bit small for the B wave. But otherwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the US dollar's done the opposite, and then we come back to the bigger picture here in terms of, say, the weekly chart here, and have a look at that. I mean, on the dollar index here, I've got this here as wave A here and B here. I have put in the 1 here, and the reason for that is because when I come back to the Australian dollar or the euro or the cable, in the bigger picture here, I can look at the move down here as 5 waves for an A wave down here, and then it's just natural to have an A and a B and a C wave here, and this B wave here is corrective in this instance here. This is not 5 waves down here. This is 3 waves down, especially now this is pushed up and overlapped that there. So we've got that 5 waves up there. So we should have 3, 4, 5 pushing up here. And then we'll turn. So if you think about this for a moment, then that means that this here can certainly be wave 1 and wave 2 back here, and then down for for wave 3 coming down here, so to speak, or at least another leg down. Anyway, the thing that I don't know is that I know that we can count this as 5 waves here, this little move here, and we've been working through the correction over the last week or so. And so we've got the A, the B, and then we'll be looking up here for 5 waves. I had it as 105, but it looks like we'll go above that. And this bigger correction is still on the cards here as well. So this A wave here could be this top here, which is wave 1 and 2, and then going up for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So there's a good case for that as well. And if this bigger move here is indeed the case, then that's going to put a lot of pressure on commodities, isn't it? The gold, the copper, the nickel, all of it. So that's we need to. I mean, looking at gold, it looks like we'll just get the A, the B, and the C wave up here, but we have to be careful about which one we're going to get, this smaller one or this larger one here. There's room for both of them, and as I mentioned before, and I still haven't resolved that yet. I'm still sort of gathering information. I can't see a clear way through to say it's going to be this one. I mean, when I look at the Australian dollar, its pullback and those sort of things, and gold, I would go for this one here, but I wouldn't bet on it just yet either, So this little move to the upside here, we've been looking at that, so we'll continue to do that on the 2000 tick chart here. And as you know, we've been looking up for wave A here, and then an ABC for the B wave here. And then last week, I wasn't too sure about how to resolve this in here, but it kind of looks like I need to sort of forget about the spike a little bit and look at this as 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming up here for the third, fourth, fifth for the third, the fourth, the fifth. So I think that we've got 5 waves up here. And then over here, we've got wave A here, because I've got 5 waves down here. And then we're looking for the B wave and then the C wave here. If I've made a mistake here, I mean, obviously in the bigger picture, this wave A here, we can look at it as wave 1 here. But it's kind of interesting, really, because when I look at, like, say, gold or some of the other markets, some of the stocks, they, I mean, obviously they would be doing the different thing than this, but they basically have, in their own way, they have 5 waves down, right, to this point here. So not to this one, but to this one. So I'm wondering, if I've made a mistake, that this is actually a wave 4 here and a wave 5 over here for this A wave here. You with me? So I've kind of got 1, 2, 3, ABC for 4, but it's such a big wave 4, isn't it? For that, it doesn't kind of match up very nicely. But I'm just wanted to be aware of that situation. There's a lot. I mean, iron ore stocks and copper stocks like BHP rather, and Vale and all of those, they're very clear that they've got, while this has been pushing up, they now have 5 waves down here. So I sort of wonder, and the same with gold as well. So I do wonder about this. So it'll be interesting watching this. If it just pulls back to this here as an A and a B and a C and pulls back into the 61.8% and pushes off, then this will be correct, and then I'll just weave the other ones in there. The currencies, they have a direct reflection of what's going on here, but the commodities seem to be slightly out of whack a little bit with this. I mean, they are moving down like this, like BHP, which we'll look at today, has got 5 waves down here. Gold we can count as 5 waves down, so that means that this should count up here to 5 waves. So I'm out of sync here a little bit. I've lost the plot a little bit with this, so I'll just see how this plays out here, this US dollar business. So for gold here, like I said, we could count 5 waves down through here. It's a little bit hard to see here. And maybe we could look at it differently. Maybe we could put this here and look at this coming down further into the 61.8% like this here. But don't forget, either way you want to look at this, this still needs to push up in this 3rd wave. And when this pushes up in its 3rd wave and 5th wave here, then it's going to it's going to put pressure on this over here, isn't it? I was thinking that while this pulls back here, then we could get that little B wave to the upside. It won't be much, but it'll be something, and then we can look at it like this here. If I look at this here on say 100 ticks, I think it's a clean chart, but let me just check it out a little bit and see if we can follow through on that a bit further. Need more data. Okay, so just bear with me a second here. Let's just label this. This will be 1 and 2 in here. Just, you have to excuse me if it's not spot on. Nice big long 3rd wave here for this, so we can put that wave 3. Complicated sideways wave 4. Have no idea how to count that, but that must be a wave 4. And then we must be looking down at a wave 5 here with that little A wave, B wave and C wave about to rise here. So we could look at this in terms of, will it get back to this point of 50-60%? Look, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But that would be up here. So I think if we could even get to, somewhere this wave 4 here at the 50%, gold works quite nicely to the 50%. So we'll see how that goes. It does look a bit impulsive up here, doesn't it, Well, seems we've got 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2. That could be an ABC for the A wave. So it's like got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that makes a nice little wave 1 and 2 in here for that. And then obviously this makes a nice wave 3, doesn't it? It's nice and long and strong and all that sort of thing. The hero. And we'll put wave 5 here. Whoops, a daisy. Wave 5, and then basically the ABC going on here. So maybe that's going to be the lot of it there at that point. And then we have a look at this back here, and then we have this C wave up here. I think that's all. That's about all we'll get. Maybe it'll be that small. I mean, it's pretty small. The only other thing I can think of is I just don't think we've got time to go up there to have this as wave 1 up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for the A wave. But I just don't think we've got time for that. Because unless this pulls down further, unless this is the A wave up here, and then we go for a deeper B wave here. But as far as this goes, the A, the B, and the C here, I don't think this C wave coming down, that would send gold to the upside. So I don't think we've got a lot of time. So maybe that is the B wave here. Anyway, we'll resolve it. It's not like we have to. But there is a case for, and this would be 1 and I don't know how that pans out, but 3, 4, all of that would be the 5th wave in here for that. So, so we'll see how that sort of plays out. And GDX is much the same as well. We can look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a bit cleaner here, and I think we've been looking at this one, hadn't we? So we'll have a bit of a look at this. Okay, well, I thought we had labelled it before, but obviously not. I mean, we could count it down differently, but it's quite common for commodities to have extensions in the 5th wave, So that would be down here somewhere. So that would be 1 and 2, and that would be 3 here and 4 here. And it would be 1, 2, have to put all that into the 3rd, 4th, 5th. So that would be the A wave here. And yeah, so this is the kind of move down here that we're seeing in base metals as well, especially in the stocks, So we'll just see how that kicks back, and then this kicks down here and so on. So it'll be interesting to see. I think we may need to look at this as wave A up here, but we'll just see how this goes in here. But anyway, that's the issue that we've got with that at the moment. Yeah, that 5 waves down, we'll be looking at that in what's the name? But when I have a look at that we had a look at Vale this morning actually, which is an iron ore stock, It's monthly. We just want to go daily here, but I just wanted to show that this is iron ore, but it doesn't matter if it's most of these stocks. In this case, this is a daily chart, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And we're looking for an ABC and then down again. So this is very much like gold. BHP is like this as well. So there's many stocks like this. We're getting that 5 waves down off their highs, and that's what gold is doing, and the US dollar's causing 26th of Jan. Bit earlier than the dollar pushing up, but anyway, that's close. But that 5 wave structure down there, and we'll be looking at that when we look at copper for BHP. So anyway, onto the other metals, the uranium here. We've been looking at this as wave 1 to the upside here, with an A wave and a B wave and a C wave to come back into this area here, and it might come a little bit deeper, but I'm still kind of okay with this at the way, because it still could be. It still could be that this just gets out of hand and makes a new low down here for this, and then we would have to look at this whole thing here as some sort of A wave, A, B, C here for the B wave and the C wave down here, and then we go up from that point, It'll be something like that, or we can just look at this as 1 and 2 here. I really don't know. It could do both, just depending on where the US dollar goes. But we know that the US dollar is in a corrective rally, and it's just giving everything a hard time. So it really just depends on each individual market of how much heat it can take, So we'll just keep an eye. This is uranium here. We normally look at PDN for this. The lithium stocks, by the by, if we can just go and look at the lithium stocks. This is Piedmont here. So as I always sort of harp on about, is that this move here is corrective, this move here. So whatever happens over here, it's corrective. So as I mentioned, I've got a position in this too, somewhere in here, somewhere. Very small position, not worried about it. But the worst that could happen here is all of this becomes the A wave here, and then this becomes the A, the B, and the C wave up here for the B wave, and we come down for a C wave here. That's probably the worst that could happen to this. Otherwise, we can still go with 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 to pull back here, and then pushing up. When we look at the big Chinese stocks, that's even opened lower today. So in China, this is in 1 here. This is this stock here has got Australian interests as well, but we have to consider a top being in play here now, and would expect this low to come. We'll expect this back down at 60 here. So while the US dollar's pushing up, all of these will be pushing down. So I've been saying it for a little while. But any of these markets that you're in will be under pressure at this point, So that's that, and nickel will be under pressure as well. So with nickel here, we've got two ways to look at this. We can look at it as a big wave 1 here and a big wave 2 here of intermediate degree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 here, an A and a B and a C back for wave 2 here. Right, that's one way to look at it, and then we go up from that point. Or we have to look at this here as the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave up here for that. And then this will be down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2, and then, continuing to move down at this point. So it really depends on how the dollar rallies, but I would imagine that there's still more pressure to come on this. There will be support at the 25 here, the medium level, but will it hold? Is it, is that right, what we're looking at here? I don't know. We just got to kind of monitor the situation. But all I know is that really while this is pushing up, while the dollar's pushing up, then all of these are going to be under a lot of pressure. So, it's, as I mentioned, you need to either hedge them or move out of these. And copper's the same as well, but I'm just using BHP here. So it's like looking at Vale in that instance, or gold. You can also see here that we've got 5 waves down here. So we'll get some type of correction, and then we'll get another move down. So that's sort of where we are with copper and stocks and and iron ore and all of those sorts of things at that point. This is high grade copper here. So those 5 waves down we're just looking at is like these little 5 waves here. So an A and a B and a C here at minimum. So in this case, I still want to look at this like BHP as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. Now, that may be a little bit hopeful, especially when it comes down here. I know that we could look at it as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave up here. But I am bullish on China. I am bullish on the market in general. The US dollar is pushing up and applying pressure and correcting these runs that we've been in. And I'm okay with that. So, but we still need to allow them to play out. And that's why I think, when we look at this market here, having this here as the A wave, the B wave and the C wave up here and then coming down, or even if I'm wrong and we go to the A wave here, the B wave here and the C wave up here, and then come down. I think this is the right pattern because it kind of suits all of this. Otherwise, we're going to see this, come way back down here for this, and make new lows at that point if we go to that bigger US dollar pattern. So I think that this would be the right one, but we need to be aware of everything, and that's what I'm trying to do. But at this stage, at least we know that it's coming back down. That's good, isn't it? And any of those related stocks are involved in that as well. Crude oil here, as I mentioned last week, I don't really have a good concept of this. It's just erratic for me. It has pulled back to the 61.8% here very nicely, so it doesn't mean that it'll hold, but it certainly will sit there for a little while. If this is breached from this rally here, then we'll see it. If this comes through here and retest that supply that it's building at this moment, then it's likely to head down at this point. I could look at this as 1 and 2 here and 3 and 4 here, but I do have overlap here for wave 5 here, so it's probably better to look at it as an A, B, C here for the A wave and A, B, C for the B wave, and then look at this as a C wave up here. I could look at it in different ways. I can see that I can count it in, it's not like I can get 5 waves in this little move here. So I can certainly get a corrective wave out of it. I can certainly get a corrective wave out of this. I can get 5 waves to here and here and here. So I think it's all sort of corrective. I mean, I would only go long, as I've always mentioned, if we can get a nice support on top of this level here. Otherwise, we'll just make a new low here, especially while the dollar's pushing up as well, So I don't know what the count is here, but what I do know is that we can't go long in this market unless we got this number as the support, because that's where the supply is, and we must blow out the supply and we must have it as a support, and we just don't have it yet, So it may get more complicated. I don't know, but we don't need to make a move on it. If we see that we can get a nice 5-wave structure down into like 65, because that's where it'll end up, the medium level here, all right, then we could look to work a long trade back up from that point. But we either get support on this level, or it just drops here and we can pick it back up here. I mean, shorting it through here is not going to be easy either, because you've got all these lows to contend with, which you'll see bounces. You've got 7,000, then you're also in group 1 here, so 100, 200 and 300. They're all going to be tough nuts to crack. It's going to get very bouncy in there. So, but still, you can find some ETF to hold short on that if you wanted to. Alrighty, on to natural gas. So this is where we were last time with natural gas. We were looking for this wave 4, and we're looking for, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we could either have this here, or we could have looked at wave 1 here and 2 and moved up. Now, I'm not happy with this wave, this degree of wave 4 here. It just really hasn't been big enough. So I need to drop it down one more degree to make it a bit smaller. So that means that if we go back to the daily chart, perhaps, so there's a couple of things here too while we're here. If we just go back a bit further into the weekly chart, just shoot the breeze here a little bit on this. So let's just have a little debrief about this. We had this low in place down here, this low here, and we got a nice little 5 waves up here. That's cool. And then we had a correction, and then we had this 5 waves up here, and then we had this pullback, and then we had this move up here. Now this low here, it's not that far off of overlapping with wave 1 here. It's quite close. So to have this as 1, 2, 3, a deep wave 4 here, and then go up to wave 5 here, we could put that as wave 5 there, and we could look at this as an A wave, a B wave and a C wave down here, but I don't think we're going to be taking the tops out here anytime soon. I just think we have to label it pretty much a 3-wave move to here, and a 3-wave move to here, and then an ABC here, and a 3-wave move to here. Or you could even get another WXY out of that, and then that will save us from saying that we need to take out the top there, you know, because when we go back further into the monthly chart here for a moment, there's a few things in here I want to talk about. You know, most of this sharp move up here, you know, is pretty much like one of these moves here, where it like, oh, it looks like 5 waves up. You know what I mean? So I don't think we should count it like that. I think we need to look at it a little bit. We need to look at it in wave 3s all the time. But the other important thing here, so I don't think we need to think about, look, it's possible we could take out the top, you know, there's nothing too high, nothing too low, but at the moment we're searching for a low here. So one of the main points here is that we could see on the monthly bar here that we had this big strong bar here, and then the following month it came down, but it was, the range was shorter, wasn't it, than the previous one, and now we're halfway through, just over halfway through this month, February, and we haven't really moved much at all, have we? So one would have to say that we're pretty close to having a, well, I don't know about a low, maybe a low, but certainly we could be expecting a correction very shortly. That would be fair to say, wouldn't it, you know, because the range is diminishing. So what we could say is that we do need to kind of look for a wave count that would give us a low in this area here. So when I come back to the weekly chart, now that we can see that in very simple terms, when we come back to the weekly chart here, and we can see that from the top, we've come down with this move, and then we've had this move back again, and then we've had this move down and a move back again, but we haven't really had any other move, you know, no real corrective move from that point, is there? So I still think that we still need to see like a wave 4 and then a wave 5, something like that, and then we can go into another sort of thing, you know, to the upside at that point. We've had increasing volume into this trend, but the range is just not there. So I think that we need to look at this as 1, 2, and then even though we had the 3, 4 in here, I think we need to put that in a smaller degree, and we'll look at that in a moment, and then 3, 4 here. So we know that we're ending, so we can look at some big numbers here, and we can look at our wave count, and we get some sort of idea of what we're actually looking at. So on the daily chart here, because last time I spoke we were looking at wave 3 here and wave 4 here, but really it's just really a pimple, isn't it, you know? So it's possible, but I think I need to sort of consider that we still need that wave 3 and 4 here, and then we can look for wave 5. The wave 5 will really dry up. We'll see that on really low volume and edging down, and look, it might go to 150 or 2 or something, who knows, you know, maybe something like that, and we can look at it as a 3-wave move, and then we can just look for a move up. So we kind of getting the hang of this in terms of that we're seeing, you know, in the bigger picture, we're seeing 3 waves all the time, but we're seeing 5, 3, 5 structures. So it should be reasonable to get some long positions here, but I just don't think we're ready for it. I think there's more to come. I don't think the change is here just yet. I mean, whatever indicator that you look at would be still pointing down, of course, you know, that they'll only turn up when the market turns up, after they turn up, you know. So yeah, it's just, I'm not sure what I've done here, but let me just, maybe I'll just go to 5, see what I've done here. Okay, this is good. This is this is what I was thinking here. I was thinking that from the B wave up here, we've got 1 and 2, and then I'm just wanted to drag all this down for 3 and 4 in here, and then 5 here. And the interesting thing about this, though, is that, you know, when we first looked at when we first had this move here, looking at this as wave 1 and 2 here, that's the distance of that. So really the whole third wave here has really been the extension. So this length of wave 1 here could be the length of wave 5. So I think that would find, I think we've got to, like I mentioned, look at the monthly chart, we have to find a low here somewhere. Now, it's not to say that it can't push down to 2 or push down further and all the rest of it. But I do think we need to look for that low in here. Now, you know, obviously the US dollar needs to push up further, but you know, all the wind has been taken out of the sails in this move here. So I don't think the US dollar's got sort of much to do with it at this price. But yeah, but I have extended it down in this regard. So yeah, looking at it as wave 3, 4, and 5 here for this. So there might be another little move here. I mean, normally when you come into these price points here, when you've got 2 here, you've got 1, group 1 here, you've got, and 3. So if you know the trading levels, you know that that's group 1, and pretty much you'll always get a bounce off the number 3 because it's the 4th strongest number. How it sits in there, I'm not quite sure just yet. I think there's a bit more downside to come here, be 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. So look, it'll probably sink a little bit lower into all of this, but it is drying up, and I think that what we can do is expect some sort of move back up a little bit later, like this gap never got filled here and that kind of stuff, you know. So, but we just need to see a bigger wave 4, I reckon. Let me just go into the, was that the 1000 or was that before? Oh, that's where we were before. Just go to 100 ticks, see if I've updated that. Going there. Okay, so this is what I've done. I've made it a bit, you know, I've done a bit of work and gone back and checked everything so I could extend it down without, you know, and have a smaller degree wave 4 here for that. So but yeah, anyway, A wave up here, the A, the B, and the C wave for the B wave, and then 5 waves up for the C wave here for wave 4. So anyway, it played out reasonably well. And then we can look at this here as wave 1 here with an A and a B and a C for an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here, and then 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here. Let's push that up there. And then I was looking at this being, okay, well, I've got I could put a low in here based on this. Anyway, I don't want to short it because I know that we don't have the momentum behind us on this. I don't have a very good wave 4 here. Yeah, I'm not quite sure about this low just yet on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third wave, 4th, 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look, you could have a low here, but it's a mug's game picking a low, so I won't do that. We need to see a nice clean 5 waves up for all of this to occur, so I'm not there yet with this. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.